Hello, I'm live. Hey, Mrs. Amir, how are you doing? Um, how's my lighting? It's a little dark, isn't it? I don't mean to be dark or anything. Um, the sun was just so bright today. There was no way I was going to be able to do an outdoor thing. So, how's it going? Big news in the Idaho 4 case. I'm sure you guys have already heard, if you've been online, that Kohberger has been indicted by a grand jury. So it hasn't been, the paperwork hasn't been released, but it's already been done. Indicted by a grand jury. So today's Thursday or Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, May 17th. So Monday, I think that's the 22nd. They're going to have some hearings. Let's see. Where's my calendar? Monday the 22nd. So thanks for being here, you guys. I'm a little discombobulated. As you know, I am still with my allergies. I haven't done an indoor live in a little while, and I'm such a creature of comfort. So let me just see about, what am I doing with that? I just want to straighten that out. So tranquility, serenity now. Please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. Share, subscribe, all that jazz. Hit your notification button if you'd like to be notified when I'm going live or when a video's been dropped. Yeah, Dana, thank you for saying that. This can't get any weirder. Thank you. That comment right there is why I had to go live. And let's see. Why is it defaulting to top chat? That is so bizarre. It did that to me the last time. And is it going to let me pin stuff? It's not letting me pin it. I wonder why that is. Dang it. I can't really. Okay, there. Now it's letting me. No. Psych. Man, it is so annoying dealing with the technology. And it's not just me. I would think that it was just me and my, technological challenges, but it's YouTube, man. It's just nuts. It does all kinds of crazy stuff. So let's just get rolling here. I apologize for the brain fog. It's back. And I took so many meds last night, I can't even tell you. I took like 4 different types. So I guess I just have to live with it. Enid Meleho, I can't. I can't do last names. I'm just going to have to do first. So Mrs. Amir, Dana, Jazz King, Sarah, Dana, and Enid. I think I'm saying your name right. Let me know if I'm not. So everything I say is simply my opinion. It's simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion, hoping to be educational and to learn something. My videos are all made specifically for YouTube, and that's an entertainment platform. Enid, yay, I said it right. Cool. Everything is changing so fast we can't keep up. Now, you're talking about the case, or you're talking about the technology? Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'd say both, right? The artificial intelligence and just what's going on with that. And then this case, I mean, nothing would surprise me with this case. Good morning, Pixie Knickers in chat. I'll be here listening while I paint. Ooh, are you like painting walls or doing artwork? Or both? Painting artwork on walls. Hey, Zelda. So, yeah, you guys, I'm blown away. I've been listening to some other lives like J is for Justice, or what's the 411 with J is for Justice, and The Lawyer You Know, JLR, Harsh. Those are the ones that I've caught today. I was even going to watch Ashley Banfield, but I didn't. So, hey, Nico, thanks for modding. Painting rocks for my fairy garden. Very cool. Very, very cool. So yes, I'm kind of back inside with my fairy garden. The outdoors was so cool, but so hard to manage the blinding light. And like I said, today I just knew that there wasn't going to be a snowball's chance because the sun is just shining. It's like summer. Um, okay, so Nico is on, but not 100% on. Well, I'm not 100% on either. I'm sorry to admit it, but I got to keep it real. Fred Field, hola, Jules of all trades. Yeah, Dana. I've caught a little bit of her also. Yeah, a lot of people are going live right now. So thank you for joining me. I knew I was up against some stiff competition, but I just wanted to follow through since I said that I was going to come on live. And so here we are. One sec. I've got like an itchy, tickly nose. I got my Kleenex nearby. I've got throat lozenges. I think I'm all set. So there was something that one of my mods said the other day that I wanted to share with you guys because I think it's really interesting. Oh, Dana, you're so sweet. Hey, Kim. Um, and let's see, what is Country Mouse? um, so before I forget to finish my sentence about what I was saying, the 22,000 Elantras that uh, the police chief Fry said that the Moscow PD was examining. Where did he get that number? And what my mod said is, isn't that interesting? 22,000 kind of fits with the 1122 theme. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It does, doesn't it? Very, very interesting observation. But, I've literally tried to find on Google about how many white Elantras there would be, like in the country, in the world, in Moscow. And I'm pretty sure 22,000 white Elantras from the years, when they were saying it was just 2011 to 2013. I'm pretty sure that that would be like all of them worldwide, definitely at least nationwide. And why they were throwing those numbers out there is really bizarre. Like, obviously, they're not going to sift through every single one of them, but weird. Weird, weird, weird. And so let's get to the country mouse thing. I've been missing your lives, but not today. I'm in the house. Hey, Kathleen, thanks for being here. I know I've really been missing my lives too. I really have. The allergies, just having like almost laryngitis on some days. Old children's story, Nico says, the country mouse. Yeah, town mouse and country mouse, or country mouse, city mouse. It's both. So, these last couple of videos that I've made, I've been, sorry, my dog is like dehydrated, I guess, and just drinking a ton of water. Can you hear that? That traffic stop that I've kind of been obsessing on, you could say, the Kohberger traffic stop from October of 2022. And he really does this thing where he is like pretending to be completely overwhelmed and flipping out. Can you help me understand? He literally, that's like in quotes. He literally says, "Can you help me understand?" There were white lines everywhere. What do they all mean? That's not in quotes. That's just me running with it. So yeah, in the first 2.5 minutes of the traffic stop, he does so just back up. So the first time he says it is just after a minute into the traffic stop, after he's already like interrupted her, corrected her, all this weird stuff. Back up, just back up. And then they have a little conversation. Where I'm from, we don't even have laws, is pretty much what he says. We don't have intersections with crosswalks. I'm just a little country mouse where I'm from. And I called it Pentucky because some people from Pennsylvania, it's right next to Ohio, people from Pennsylvania call it Pentucky. So I'm not like being mean. I'm just repeating what people in Ohio say to call Pennsylvania a lot. So, he's acting like he's from this part of Pennsylvania where he never has to deal with crosswalks. And then when he goes into town, he rarely has to deal with them. And they have very lax rules there anyway. There's a lot of flexibility. BS. The law, I actually looked it up on Google. The law in Pennsylvania is almost verbatim to the law in Washington state. And I can guarantee you, across all 50 states, that those laws are going to be pretty much verbatim. You don't block an intersection. We all know that. It's like the whole thing with gridlock. Anyway, so, it's kind of making fun of him, or not kind of, but really making fun of him, putting on this act like he's a little country mouse and he doesn't understand, and that, lights were flashing and cars were whizzing by and suddenly stopping, and he just was trying to not die in the intersection. And so that's why he ran the red light. I mean, he's really playing it up and, kind of talking like he's Rain Man. What if that police officer found out that he was getting his doctoral degree in criminology? Because she could have looked him up more later, or, dispatch might have been looking him up and seeing his school status and his employment. He acted like he can barely understand plain English, but I don't need to obsess on that anymore. We have a whole new thing. I've just been really stuck on it because there's been so many people saying, well, my opinion is that he was being polite, blah, 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 blah. And I've said again and again, that was my first take on it too. But when you watch it carefully, analytically, he's really being a sly fox, and he's really trying to mess with this police officer. And I mean, people will say, oh, well, you're supposed to try to talk your way out of a ticket. You're really not, because you can get yourself in more trouble. If you feel like you have a real valid argument, you are supposed to take that to the judge. Tell it to the judge. The judge will cut you slack if you have a good point, in my experience. So, am I lecturing? Oh. Well, I don't know everything, and I'm open to everyone having their own perspective, of course. I mean, we all have our own perspective on things, but he is being a narcissist. He is being manipulative, and she kind of bends to his idiotic behavior. Like she's the cop. She's the one laying down the law. She's the one who's trying to keep traffic moving, trying to keep people safe. And he was doing a dangerous move. So anyway, we don't need to belabor the point, but yes, everyone has their own interpretation, an interpretation of the law, interpretation of behaviors. Absolutely. Glad to see you live. Woohoo, mom of 3 boys. Hope everyone is having an amazing day. Um, you're fine, Zelda. Yeah. I mean, we all need to be forgiving of each other and ourselves, really. I mean, there's no need to get too worked up about things, but it happens. We all can get worked up about things, of course. He just seems so condescending, and he has to be right in all circumstances, in my opinion. I don't know. I just think he's weird. He definitely has a lot of quirky characteristics to his personality, in my opinion. His eyes, he definitely has the weird eyes. And my whole point was that he would make a good target, and that police officers might not like him if they had hired him in Pullman Police Department, like I'm so suspicious that they did. And his whole point of being there is to try to improve on how they gather forensic digital data, especially in rural cases. So these are departments that have been doing this, ever since there's been digital data. And they have people in their departments that specialize in that. And then this guy who's never been a cop is learning from the books and has that condescending attitude. How many times have we heard people say, oh, he always has to make sure everyone knows he's the smartest person in the room? And personally, I don't see that type of behavior and attitude as something that a person with true intelligence would pull. I mean, it's not going to serve you well. In fact, my whole point is that that could be, if he's been framed, and I'm not saying that he is, but if he has been, that could be what inspired that to transpire, possibly. But my goodness, this whole case is crazy, and I certainly don't know if he's guilty or not. I have my suspicions that he is. I have my suspicions that he's being set up. So this whole thing with the grand jury kind of makes me lean more towards the whole being set up part. Let's see. Yeah, he's weird. You in the background look very good today. Thank you, Aaron Hicks. I love the background. Yeah, I've missed it as much as I like being outside. So we never found out for sure if he was hired or not, right? Thank you for stating that, mom of three boys. We have not. The final word for anyone who's requested that information is that they don't have any documentation of any information, which is complete and utter BS. There's no way that's true. So they're withholding information. I think they have the right to withhold information, but they don't need to lie about it. And if they shredded the evidence and they have amnesia, then that's weird. And they should still tell the whole story that, oh, we shredded the evidence and we have amnesia, because he was one of only 4 applicants. You guys all know this. He interviewed about a 45-minute interview over Zoom with Chief Jenkins last April 12th. And then that same day, they emailed each other back and forth and said, oh, that was a great interview. I look forward to seeing what happens next. And that's it. That is it. So as one of 4 applicants for the paid fellowship, were they all doctoral students, or was he the only doctoral student? I don't know. But if they didn't hire him, they could have cleared that up a long time ago, and they still haven't. So what if they hired him? What if he was an assistant with the Pullman PD when all this went down, you guys? I mean, just straight up, what if? It's entirely possible, in my opinion. So did I pin that one? Yeah, I did. Who is the informant they're hiding, Dana? I don't know about this informant that they're hiding, but yeah, this whole informant dude coming out on the streets of YouTube. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that or not. Pullman PD has never admitted it, but it sounds fishy. And I think, in my opinion, he was hired. Well, and that's, I've kind of left that alone. This has been going on 6 months. And yeah, the more they deny having any information, I mean, any business is going to have documentation of that, but especially police business. They document everything. It's what they do. So who said there was an informant? Nico asks. So yeah, do you guys want to talk about this Dave character? Because I kind of want to talk about him. Again, the timing. Why would Dave come out, talk to these YouTube channels just a few days before this happens, before there's a grand jury? I mean, people behind the scenes knew the grand jury was going on. Yes, Nico, I think we might have been, because if he wasn't, they would have definitely have been yelling that from the rooftops. So silence speaks volumes. I'm totally with you, mom of 3 boys. I'm totally with you. And Let me check my phone. My kid might be texting me. Yes. Will you talk about what informant? Alleged informant. I swear this is just like the Kylie Rodney case. This guy who goes by Dave is so much like Red Flag Ronnie or Jane Doe 1 or Jane Doe 2. Um, so hold on one second. Um, Everything's cool on the home front. Um, so I was ignoring the whole Dave thing. I was listening to some of my favorite content creators talk about it, but I was intentionally not watching that stuff. Last night, I decided to go ahead and watch some of it, and all it did was solidify my opinion that he's full of it, and that, yeah, it's just like the Kylie Rodney case with that Red Flag Ronnie, and then with Jane Doe 1, Jane Doe 2. The effery, you guys, the catfishing, it's all about the trickery and trying to manipulate this phenomena of YouTube. It is a way, it's almost like the town hall these days, right? The internet is. And it's the way people communicate, it's the way information is disseminated. And these people, like this guy, Dave, I'm going to bet you that he is basically put up to this by whomever. Maybe hired, maybe just MC is another one, right? It was 100% pointless. He is probably an informant. It really is 100% pointless. I mean, it's all hearsay. It's just crazy. It's like Deep Throat, Deep Throat Dave, Red Flag Ronnie. What do you think about Xana selling drugs? I think it's just complete freaking bullshit. Hey, Roguehouse. That's my opinion. I mean, it's possible that anybody could have been, and I don't condemn people in college doing that kind of stuff because it's so typical. It's what college kids do, in my opinion, in my own personal experience. So, being in a party house, I think it's terrible to make accusations like that towards these victims and towards their families. And I think that that's my top priority. I want to know how the families are feeling about the indictment. I really want to know how the families are feeling. Like, is that a relief to them? Is that progress? Or are they scratching their heads going, wait a second, what? Um, I'm really curious. Let's see. I think they're deep, dark secrets and they want us to shut up and go away. I agree, Dana, 100%. Dave said he had an exclusive deal with Transparency in Turkey. How do you have an exclusive deal with two? That's by definition not exclusive. um, you know, yeah, yeah. That is BS. I agree. And if he thinks Brian did it, why is he doing this? Well, I think to answer that question directly, Kim, it's my suspicion that one of the reasons is to cement that, yeah, people saw him there the next morning at 9 o'clock. Some creepy guy that, could have been, was him. Yeah. I mean, it's just bizarre. It's just so freaking bizarre. And as intriguing as it is that there's this news of the grand jury indictment, I am just fed up with this case. Aren't you guys? I mean, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd, in my opinion, in my humble conspiracy theory opinion, allegedly. Do you think somebody was storing the drugs there and that's what the girls were talking about? Yeah, I have no idea. Innocent people can't defend themselves. It's true. And then also with the parents being convicted of drug charges, it sets up their kids to be likely suspects in a situation like that, in my opinion. Um, when, their parents and them are two different people and might have very different lifestyles. Um, Sam's employer, I'm not sure. Oh, are you talking about Sam from the Kylie Rodney case? Because Sammy Smith worked for the Placer County Sheriff um, or the Truckee Police Department or something. She was an employee of law enforcement at some point. Um, so I'm not sure if there's a Sam in this case that I'm not paying attention to. And they were going to say something. I'm with you, AZ. I totally agree with you, but the victims need defense, and we're it. And they need to stop playing so much. Yeah. I know it's just a game. It's just this catfishing game. It's just this trickery. For years, corruption has been able to succeed because what happens behind closed doors, we're not going to be none the wiser about it. But things are changing with the technology, and things that corrupt professionals used to be able to get away with quite easily, not so easy anymore. They still can. They hold all the cards. Their word is taken as fact. Anyone else's word is taken as suspicious. They have the inside track. They're definitely the ones in control. They don't need to keep proving that again and again, in my opinion. Um, and it's really just about greed. It's about money, usually, always. And you guys, even the judge in the grand jury is a graduate of the University of Idaho. Like, the cards are completely stacked against any defendant and completely stacked for the university. I mean, the police chief is a alumni of the University of Idaho. Some of the students' parents, like Kaylee's, probably Jack D's. I mean, a lot of families are legacy families at that school. And then we know Brett Payne was a graduate from there. His brother Kyle Payne was a graduate from there. I'm already looking at law enforcement sideways. Now the secret grand jury angle with limited supplied evidence feels even more like corruption cover-up. This doesn't make me trust our justice system. Right. And, it was looking, let's see, Subconscious Mouth. I love his last video from yesterday. He kept using the word shaky, the shaky evidence of the knife sheath. And it is shaky evidence. And it was sounding like they were trying to not have to use that. And that was like their key pivotal, like ace in the hole of what got them the arrest warrant. So, um, they know how to play their cards. They know how to play the game. I was joking. Meg's daughter says her name is Sam and not Sammy. LOL. Okay, I don't know if I might have missed part of what you were saying about that, Fred, but yeah, Sammy. So thanks for letting me know there's not a Sam that you're referring to in Idaho. Let's see, drug dealers succeed too because you think it's a normal thing, students selling drugs. I'm feeling uncomfortable now. I must relax. A good day for all. Um, it is pretty, I mean, every college campus has that aspect 100%. I'm not saying that it's good. It's bad. I mean, it was bad in my experience. And I've got one child in college who's thankfully not doing that. And, I've got three other kids who That's my biggest fear, is that they'll get caught up in that crap. A lot of kids get caught up in that crap. So I am They're all insiders, Dana says. Shaky evidence. Interesting that all the body cam footage they released on BK were pullovers, but no body cam footage for his arrest in the middle of the night when flashbangs were used. So, you guys, let's talk about something that the Hard Truth dug up with somebody, um, Payne. I'm forgetting her name now. Um, Somebody with the last name Payne bought the house right across the street from the Kohberger's place in Pennsylvania the day after these crimes were committed, November 14th. Susan Payne. I think she's 70 years old. She has a Brett Payne in her family. I don't know it's if these two Payne families are connected or not. But think about this. The house right across the street, and looking directly at his house, purchased the day after these horrific crimes were committed, and then sold just recently at a loss of about $4,000. So it's not like they bought the house to flip it. And we all know people don't go buying houses and then selling them in the same year unless they're flipping them, unless it's for financial gain. So I feel like something needs to be examined more closely with who this Susan Payne is. Is she a relative of Brett Payne? That would be crazy. But the coincidence, if it's a coincidence that they bought this house, I think she's one of like 4 people that are on the title. And Hard Truth found that out from a tip that one of her viewers emailed her. And I did some research on it. I know some other people have done some research on it. It's insane. So, indicted now turn state's evidence and tell us all what went down, please. Yeah, right. We've all seen the world leaders hung out, but no BK arrest. I wonder if bushy eyebrow Saeed at Banfield was criminal informant, showed cops something. Yes, Dana, Susan Payne. Gotcha. They were filming the whole night. They got the wrong one. Payne is horrible. Other than a little marijuana, we just had keggers in the cornfields back in my day. And Fred, the whole thing with fentanyl, even pot can be laced with fentanyl. So it could be that these kids were, smoking a little weed, which is completely legal now in Washington State, 6 miles away from Moscow, but it's not legal there. But anyway, it could have been something like that. Just saying. People on jury duty get kicked off jury duty for less obnoxious relationships with a defendant, like working at a car wash they once went to. But all these people don't have a conflict of interest. J for Just played Einan versus Dave. Dave uses many same words as Einan calls students kids. Thank you, Annie Ruler. I was watching some J's for Justice today, and even right up until I started my live, because she did a live earlier. I was waiting until she was done. And then when I was about to come on, I saw that she had restarted without asking me. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, yeah, she does a great show. I really enjoy her work, and she digs really deep. And yeah, and people use that word like, that was one of the things she was saying, is that Einan used like a lot, or people in her chat were saying it, and that Dave used it a fair amount too. And people use that word like Chris Watts and NK. They do that to buy time so that they can figure out what they're going to say next. So when you're confabulating, when you're telling fibs, you have to do a lot of cross-referencing in your brain real quick, or you'll trip yourself up. So you need to buy yourself time with the and the like and just a lot of nonsense words and repeating yourself so that you can think things through. I mean, it's stressful. Telling lies is stressful. So, like I said, people that do that type of thing, manipulate and lie, that's just not good self care. People do that when they want to control a situation and they don't feel like they have true control in their own lives. So they start trying to control other people. That's really what narcissism and manipulation is all about. Um, Underage drinking on all cameras, but Kohberger was not filmed. And trash put in the neighbor's garbage, Dana. Yeah. And we don't know. I don't think we know if the trash was put into Susan Payne's garbage, if that's what they're talking about. But they've really misrepresented in the media that these houses were like spread out so far. They made it sound like they were on 5-acre plots or something. And they're not very far spread out. I mean, they're on like probably third acre size plots, maybe even quarter acre size plots. I actually looked that up because I was so shocked to see how close this house that Susan Payne purchased was directly across the street from the Kohbergers. And a really nice house. It was like 400 and some $1,000. And, you know, the Kohbergers home is in a nice neighborhood and it's a nice large house and they have a very nice yard. They have great landscaping. But their house online anyway is pretty outdated. And I just thought it was interesting that that they had good landscaping, the Kohbergers. So let's see. No body cam, so you can't trust anything they say about the trash. Thanks, Heather. I agree. And, you know, I think it was Crime Circus who would say, you know, he was being weird in the neighbor's garbage. He was playing in the neighbor's garbage. And I thought that was hilarious, but also true. Like, just because he's touching the neighbor's garbage doesn't mean that he's trying to dispose of evidence. It, of course, could mean that, but it could also be that their garbage cans were full. The neighbors didn't have much garbage in their garbage can, and they were just putting some in there. I mean, it sounds like Kohberger was an insomniac and that he did a lot of things at night. So I don't know. I mean, I certainly don't want anyone to think that I am trying to protect him if he's guilty. I am certainly trying to protect him if he's not guilty, because a lot of things that anybody does can look suspect. The houses are so big considering they had filed for bankruptcy twice. Well, and I'm glad you brought up the bankruptcy because early on in this case, I think people were really criticizing his family for having gone through bankruptcy twice. And yeah, that's got to be embarrassing to have that put on blast. But also, I think people were thinking, oh, well, if his parents were having all this financial trouble in the family when he was growing up, then it makes more sense that he could grow up to be a psycho and unalive people. Like, that's crazy. That's insane. And being poor, being broke, being bankrupt is not a crime and does not make a person become a criminal. So, my husband has social anxiety and takes the trash out at midnight because he doesn't like people seeing what he is doing. Oh, that's cute. That's funny. Yeah, neighbors are so nosy too, right? Hey, Sifa, how's it going? And Heather, 50 FBI agents and not one of them turned on a body cam. Crazy. Completely insane. They had no permission to search there. I do that at night too, even wearing gloves. Got 8 animals to clean, and my neighbors know. Also, you got to remember it was Pennsylvania and it was the winter. And, you know, I live in Ohio. I always wear gloves. Always, 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 like from November through March, pretty much, because your hands get cold. So, wearing gloves is not a suspicious thing when it's winter and you live in a place with a cold winter. period. Just like having bushy eyebrows is not a suspicious thing. You know, I kind of think that Kohberger's eyebrows aren't even that bushy. Like, why the whole thing with that is so freaking bizarre. I never related bankruptcy to making of a psychopath killer. No, but some content creators did, Dana. I watched some content creators, if I could only talk, definitely conjure that up. Okay. They also get bears, so they are asked to zip lock fruit and veggie scraps. Heather, such a good point. I forgot about the bears in that area. Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't mean you unalived anybody. The media is crazy unless they're neoprene. Um, sure, but also you've got to remember that like all of the first responders wear those same gloves that are neoprene. That's what they do. Yes, it is. So does that make them suspicious? Not in my opinion. I live in the middle of the woods. If bankruptcy made SK, then half of this country would be an SK. Sarah, good point. Yeah, absolutely. I see your point. So let's see. I think I had a few other notes. If I can find the right notebook, I have multiple notebooks going right now, which is not really a good thing. It makes me more scattered and unable to find what it is that I'm looking for. So yeah, I think just talking for a couple more minutes because we are already at 41 minutes. And like I said, my brain is foggy today and my phone keeps going off. So let's see. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I said earlier, today's Wednesday. On Monday, there's going to be court proceedings. It does give them the ability to keep things more secretive. Absolutely. Well, you're so kind, Diane. I don't know that I'm doing a great job. I'm doing a job. I really wanted to come on live, even though I knew that my brain no worky so good at the moment. They were black surgical gloves. Right. Well, because there's a certain grade that will keep you from getting cut by glass and stuff like that. And not getting like pricked with a needle. So that's probably the type. Between this case and the Oklahoma case, I'm not approving of the secrets from law enforcement. Oh, that Oklahoma case is insanity. Total insanity. Half of the stuff they say about BK is true about me too. Poor, socially awkward, obsessed with crime. Cute, Heather. Super cute. I love that comment. I have to highlight that. Hilarious. Yeah. You know, circumstantial evidence is circumstantial evidence, and you cannot convict someone on that. Even when people say, well, if his DNA was at the house or the victim's DNA at his apartment, yeah, of course, that's going to look bad and that could convict a person, but that also can be planted. Keep that in mind, please. Mine are white surgical gloves, cheaper. Yeah. All right, you guys. Did I do my hit that like button if you'd be so kind? I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Sign off, sign out. A lot of people online who believe KB is guilty only think that because of the DNA on the sheath, and they are not using that as weird. It is, and it just drives me nuts how many people think he's guilty and talk about him as if he's guilty. Like, presumption of innocence, you guys. I mean, I was going to put up, I just bought a poster, a framed poster of our Constitution. I was going to put that up in the background, but I didn't want to mess with the vibe. I just have my tranquility, my like button. That's enough. Too much alphabet. That was one of you guys that said that. Was that Annie Ruler? Was that someone else? I loved it. That was a few weeks ago. Too much alphabet. Anyway, so yeah, let's go ahead and sign off. And let's see. Don't forget about Kylie Rodney, Trinity Backus, Dante Del Toro. I'm not familiar with Del Toro. I'm familiar with the rest of them. And yes, I really personally want to get back into the Kylie Rodney game because some people are pushing that case forward. It's like rolling a boulder uphill. And I'm so grateful that they continue to do that. And I would love to give them my support and refocus more on Kylie. That girl just pulls my heartstrings big time. Have a lovely day, all of you. Of course, thanks. I doubt he did it, not alone. I agree. I've been sitting in front of the grocery store for the last hour, and that makes me a weirdo. Yeah, you stalker. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm trying to get back into my live routine. So let's look forward to at least trying, even if I'm kind of foggy in the brain. I'll still do it. I'll still try. I don't think he is innocent, not a part of something big. I don't think he is. I'm so confused by that, Alistair Grant. I don't think he is innocent, not a part of something big. Oh, but okay. I don't think he is thank you so much. Now I get it. I don't think he is innocent, but a part of something big. And yeah, I hold a similar opinion to that. I think that he could be guilty as charged. I think that he could be innocent and set up and maybe took part in something. I don't know, but I'm still so suspicious of Kopaka and his connection and his potential connection to Kohberger. Did they know each other? I mean, when Kohberger was pulled over in Indiana and his eyes were bugging out of his head and he was freaking out, was that because his homie had just been shot by a sniper? I don't know. You're so nice, you guys. Thank you kindly. I saw a lot of that traffic stop. It's BK behavior, just me. Yeah, Betty Smith, me too. And I've put that traffic stop in many of my descriptions. Maybe I'll go ahead and put it in this description as well for anybody that wants to obsess on it and rewatch it. To me, it's fascinating. I mean, I've watched it too many times, but I still pick up new things in it. It's amazing how you can miss some things. Yeah, they did shoot him, and he was a protected person, and he shouldn't have been shot. And I said it last week, like, what is it with roommates in Idaho and in Moscow and Pullman? Like, both of these situations with Brent Kopaka and with Brian Kohberger, both of them, like, roommates are like the monkey wrench. Like, what? You can muddy the water when you have roommates in a situation? I think it's odd. I do think it's odd, especially Kopaka, because he was 36 years old. So did he really have roommates? And, for the Moscow, Idaho 4, that makes more sense that they would have roommates. But yeah, the two roommates, the whole, they were there, they're not witnesses, that whole thing drive me freaking nuts. The D guy with Emma is 36 or 38. Good point, Sarah. Very good correlation there. Yeah, he's bad news. Absolutely bad news. So, all right, I'm doing it. I'm signing off. Heather says they will do anything to cover up Kopaka. They can't risk the truth of him getting out or it would destroy the town that is connected. It was Kopaka he was picking up that puts him there. Both are part of it. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Right, Diane, to shoot him was a no. He served your country. Exactly. Exactly. So peace out. Have a great rest of your day. I've got my little bra strap showing. Sorry about that. If I didn't point it out to you, you guys might not have noticed. For saying 21-year-olds don't hang out with 30-year-olds, a lot of those kinds of relationships coming out. Not in my experience, personally. I mean, my mother-in-law and father-in-law were a bigger age gap even than that, like 19 and 30 when they met. But for the most part, it's a lot less common. I mean, 30-year-olds hang out with 30-year-olds, 21-year-olds hang out with 21-year-olds in my experience. But anyway, peace out. Have a great afternoon. Get your nourishment, eat your veggies, eat your protein, get your exercise, some sunshine and fresh air, and relax. And make sure you're comfortable. You know, wearing comfortable clothes is another really important thing that we all need to do. Comfortable clothes, comfortable shoes. If you're uncomfortable, like if your belt is pinching or your shoes are pinching, it will ruin your whole day. It's like having a bad hair day on steroids, right? So, and especially if you're in a stressful situation and then you have like new shoes on that are giving you a blister or something like that. So it's just really important to make sure that you're comfortable, make sure that you're relaxed, make sure that you're being kind and respectful. And let's see, I'll read a couple more of these as I'm signing off. Yeah, it's a mixed bag of ages. It is, and different strokes for different folks. Some people like hanging out with older folks. Some people like hanging out with younger folks. I think most people tend to, like birds of a feather, flock together. But, you know, there's always the exception. Anyway, I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow morning. We'll see if this works out again. I'm sure there's going to be a lot going on, a lot of turbulence. With this case. And like I keep saying, I have not given up on the Kylie Rodney case, and I want to be focusing more on that as well. So there are some similarities in the cases. There's a lot of very striking differences as well. You know, there's no like parallel to Kohberger in the Kylie Rodney case. There's nobody that is being blamed or tried. So it seems like somebody should be getting tried for it, though. All right. Peace out. Sending you light, sending you love. Thanks so much. And see you on the next one. Have a great day. And end.